Spoke your words. Welcome to my live call. And it comes with a question. Are you putting in time that is in your business and not getting results? Question mark. What's next? So I'm going to talk about that. For those of you that do not know me, I've been involved in network marketing now for over 40 years. I share a lot of what I've learned in my journey on these live calls. And I started in this business totally broke. Put $200 into my business after selling a junk truck, and the last 28 years I've been full-time, so love it. If you got to work, there's no place like home. The time that we put into our business, and sometimes we wonder, hey Michael, good to see you, where are the results? You might have been in your company for X amount of months, X amount of years, and not seeing the results that you want to see. Good to see you, George. So I want you to understand, first of all, those feelings are feelings I've had, okay? I can remember years ago that, thinking, am I really cut out for this? Do I have the personality type? It was a struggle because I'm trying to see if I'm a fit for what I'm trying to do, or maybe I'm just not good at it, but then I'm looking at people that I don't think they're any sharper than I am, and they're doing very well. So what are they doing? And it really comes down to people being productive. Alice, nice to see you. How can we be productive? And what are the things that are involved in being productive? I can tell you right now, the most important thing if you want to be productive is clarity. Clarity is everything. Why is that? Because it's getting clear on the most important things, and then understanding what's not important or not as important. Because too many times people wake up every day in this business and they start reacting to the world. They start reacting to their devices that they have. It's like those devices control them. I remember my last company, when I joined 21 years ago, I didn't have those distractions. So clarity wasn't too hard for me. I knew exactly what I needed to be doing that day, and I knew my priorities. And so that's one thing that we're going to talk about is some things that can help us get clear on, and then understand the difference between something that is an income producing activity versus a waste of time. And that's what I want you to do. I want you to get better at getting clear on what's most important. So, because if you don't do that, what's going to happen is, and I've done it, I've been guilty of it, and that is a whole day would go by and nothing's been done. It's not that I wasn't busy, it's just that I wasn't productive. And if we're not productive, we just don't feel fulfilled. Isn't that right? We don't feel fulfilled. We feel like, oh my gosh, I just wasted a day when I could have used it. So let's talk about a few things that could help us do that. Number one is taking, and this is so important, is taking your day before you begin your day. And you can get this in planners, as well as you can Google it and you can get these documents. Your hours throughout the day. If you want to manage your hours throughout the day, whatever time you're going to dedicate in your day to the business, where is that time going to go? The time slot. Start writing it out where you want to see it go. I mean, when you start your day, figure out what is most important. What have I got to get done today? What is the most important things? It's going to be different with all of us. I don't spend any of my time, very little of my time do I ever spend prospecting. I don't do that much. I spend most of my time just supporting. That's it. Just supporting and helping, directing whoever needs help. But so how I'm going to fill in my time slots are going to be different than some of you. And maybe some of you have sponsored enough people, so for now you're good. Maybe you need to spend more of your time supporting those people in your team, which means you need to be making phone calls, reaching out to them. We have the assumption that they're doing fine, and they are doing fine until they're not doing fine. And then we're surprised when they're out of the business. They get discouraged. So it's so important to have boots on the ground and know what is really going on in your team. Sometimes I'm very shocked when I find out. And then I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm glad I asked. I'm glad I showed up. So the thing is, make sure that when you're beginning your day, get clarity on what is the most important thing that needs to be done. Then you're going to start to fill out your time. You can allocate your time, make a schedule of your time through the day, where you're going to spend that time. And if it's prospecting, if that's what you need to do, and you have to decide how much time have you got, and then you're going to have to allocate a certain amount of that time to prospecting. And then that's what you need to do. And that means then we don't get distracted. And that's the thing, again, we begin our day usually reacting to what's going on around us. Oh, the phone starts beeping. Oh, we got to check the news and see if the world is still here, all these things. And then the next thing you know, one thing leads to the next. Or somebody's calling you, you could talk to that person at another time. That's not important. It's not an emergency. So the thing is, you're going to have things pulling at you all the time. You have to decide if you're going to be controlled by it or you're going to control it. And that was one thing I did 21 years ago. I was very careful about, when I started 21 years ago, I was very careful about where my time went. Somebody called me, I'm like, okay, how much time is this going to cost? And do I need to be doing this right now? And so again, plan your work your plan. Start with getting very clear on what's most important. Then allocate your time. Go ahead and do it. Have a cup of coffee. Don't get distracted. Don't turn on the TV, and write it out what you're going to do that day. So then, here's the second thing, and that is, make sure when you do that whatever you put in those time slots is growing your business. It must grow your business. It must get you closer to your goals than you were yesterday. If it doesn't do that, stop whatever you're doing, because that is not a must-do thing on your list, and then there's no clarity. You didn't get clear on what's most important. So that's so important. And then again, it just depends on what your goals are. Of course, we have our goals that we want to accomplish in the day, but at the end of the month, for example, August, where do you want to be? in your business? Are you clear on that? If you have a year-end goal that by the end of December you want to be at this next rank position, then what have you got to do this month? You got August, September, October, November, December, okay, 5 months, whatever. What do you got to do each of those months? In other words, it's got to be measurable, the activity, the volume, the growth in your team. And keep in mind, it's not just about you moving up in rank, it's about people below you. If they're not moving up in rank, how can you move up in rank? It's, you know, it's like a plant becoming root bound. It can't go any further. So then you have to figure out, okay, who down there needs help and how can I help them get to their goals? Because if I help them get to their goals, then I'm going to reach my goal. So make sure that, again, step 2, that whatever you're doing, it has to get you closer to your goals. It has to make your business grow, or don't do it. Now here's the third one. This, I was talking to someone today about this very thing. Hey, Cheryl. Good to see you, Shirley. And that is, are you a babysitter or a nurturer of leaders? Are you a babysitter or a nurturer of leaders? I was talking to a leader earlier today, and I stopped her right in the middle of her conversation when she was talking about somebody that was asking her to do this and that, and I said, wait a second. Are you a babysitter? You don't need this person. You need to realize that we're not here to convince people in our team that they need to do this. If we have to spend our time convincing people that they need to do this, they're the wrong people. You cannot create desire. You came in this because of the desire you have in your heart. That's what moves you. That's why you're passionate about it. But if they are not like you, you need to find more people like you. So instead of convincing them, no, the best thing, be kind, be nice, but don't give them your time. And then go find better people. I've been through that, believe me. When I would look at my team and say, this isn't the kind of team that's going to get me to where I want to be. I got to find better people. So I went out and found better people. We just have to realize what we got, not live in fantasy, right? Thinking one day they're just going to change. They're just going to, we're going to wake up in the morning and all of a sudden, man, they're going to have a downline of thousands of people. It's not going to happen. Because either we're enabling them to stay weak. If we're doing that, we need to stop that and then get strong with them and show some tough love and say, hey, you want my time? Do what I do. Be the leader that you think you are, or I'm hoping you're going to be. And when you do that, I can spend more time with you, but right now I got to run with some people that really want to be serious about this. There's a way to be compassionately very clear with our people about these very things, and we just got to get good at that. So, and here's the fourth step to be a more productive. Know yourself. When are you most productive? Some people are morning people. I'm not. I'm really not. Some people are more evening people. That's me. That's why I do these calls at night, right? Ray Higdon does his during the day. Ray gets up before the sun gets up. He's very productive in the morning. That's his thing, but I'm not. When is your energy level best? It's during that time you need to do the most important things on your list, because that's what you're going to put your energy, your passion, your determination, everything's needs to go in at that time. That's when you need to execute it. Not when you're tired. When we're like with me, you call me at 4:30 in the afternoon or 5 o'clock, that's wrong time to talk to me. Wrong time. Because my energy starts going like that, okay? So that I know that at that time I don't like doing Zoom calls. I don't like doing any trainings. I don't want to talk about anything serious at that time. And then I'm going to find me a chair, a lazy boy, and then I'm going to regroup. I'm going to take a short little nap. I'll talk about that in a second. But the thing about it is, we have to know that when we are at our best, our energy levels at our best, that's when we need to go after the more important things. And if that's prospecting, great. If it's catching up with leaders, fine. If it's dealing with problems, we have to do that sometimes. And I'll tell you, the bigger your organization grows, you're going to spend a significant portion of your time on problems, because there's always going to be issues in your team. There's always going to be problems that people are reaching out and saying, hey, I need your help because I don't know where to go with this. Things like that. So make sure you're handling this when you're at your best, when you're most creative. And then the fifth is take time for some personal development and do something physical. And I recommend that in the morning. The reason why, because again, if you wake up and you have let's say you feel your best as far as energy wise, you got to get your body moving. It affects your mind, it affects your emotions, it affects your attitude. Spend a little time. If you can get outside your house, great. If you're in Manila, Philippines, and you're stuck in an apartment, you're quarantined, you can still exercise in that apartment, okay? You figure it out, but I'm just saying, get your mind and your body moving, because I find that when I do that, I get very creative about a lot of things. Ideas start coming to my mind, and I feel very positive about things, and so that's really the time to get yourself, and it prepares you for the day. It prepares you for the day. And so that when you jump on a call with somebody, you have the right state. State is everything. You see people do crazy, stupid things. Well, they're in the wrong state. What will help you get in the right state is if every day you begin it that way. And again, personal development, most important. Get some ideas flowing. I love listening to Tony Robbins in the morning. Okay, he's great. He's awesome. You might have someone else that you prefer. It doesn't matter. If it's anybody that's going to inspire you, ignite you, and get you going, and you're adding some, physical activity with it, I'll tell you what, you'll be able to really go after your list of things to do, and you're going to get it done. I mean, I've personally experienced this with my own life. And when I go back to March of 1993, way back then, and listening to Tony Robbins when I was totally broke, and I listened to Personal Power every day, and then I would go out and do something physical. Then I start thinking about everybody I need to be talking to, who I need to be following up on, and I got it done. In 18 months, I was going into the house of my dreams, following that kind of rituals. And we all have rituals, but we got to look at what those rituals are. Some of them aren't productive. So anyway, 6 is try to get your presentation in front of 3 to 5 people every day. You have to be prospecting if you're in the building mode. Now, if you don't need to build and you got enough legs in place, then develop those leaders and work with those leaders and help them get their presentations in front of 3 to 5 people every day. And if that's a video that you're using, because now many are housebound, they're not getting out, many are not doing meetings and things like that. Well, you can invite them onto a Zoom meeting. If you have a Zoom meeting, if you have a video, a good prospecting video, and you're connecting with new people in Facebook groups and you're meeting new people all the time. Someone brought that up today, said, sometimes it's hard to get some people to look at the presentation. Well, engage in their pages. I mean, they need to notice that you have some interest in them, okay? So, but I'm not saying do a lot of that. I'm just saying do some of that, okay? And then when you ask them to take a look at something, they're like, this person's taking an interest in me. I guess I'll look at it. So try to set a goal to do that, if you really want to build a solid team, then get it in front of 3 to 5 people every day. And here's the other thing, make sure, and this is the 8th step, and that is make sure you have a blueprint or a system that is working for the people that you're bringing in. In other words, we're talking about onboarding people so that they're very clear, they're not overwhelmed by information. You don't want to overwhelm people. Just give them simple steps, some activity steps, what they need to do to take action so that they have some result that they're going to be happy with by the end of the month. In this case, August, right? You want to make sure you do that. You know, I remember a story about a woodcutter in Alaska, and they were cutting trees, and this guy came in, and he was young and cocky, and they hired him, and he got out there and started just chopping down the trees, and it was like he could do at least 3 trees a day, 3 trees a day, chomping away, just chop, 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 right? Well, then his productivity went down to 2. Then it went down to 1. And then finally he went into the boss and threw his axe down on his table, says, I quit. I don't understand this. When I came here, at first I was getting 3 trees a day. Then it went to 2. Then it went to 1. I could barely get 1. And the guy said, well, you didn't listen to the old timers, did you? That is, the old men that have experience in chopping down trees. You remember the advice they gave you? Sharpen the axe. You never sharpened your axe. Lesson learned. We have to sharpen our axe if we want to be productive. And that means make an assessment. If you're not getting the results you want, look at what you're sending out to people. Sometimes you're sending out too much information and it's just overwhelming. So just a few links, and then it's a follow-up. You're going to get more people responding if they see that they don't have to go through a lot of information. They get overwhelmed. So, and then here's step 9. Understand this. Sometimes doing nothing is the very thing you need to do. Sometimes doing nothing is the very thing you need to do. In other words, if you've been working 2 hours and during that 2 hours you're working, you need to take a break. Step back, go outside if you can, commune with nature, or talk to somebody that you want to talk to, whether it's a family member or a friend, but just change what you do. It's like resetting your phone. You ever notice these smartphones get to a point where they're not very smart, and then they just start malfunctioning, doing stupid things? What do? You reset it, right? Turn it off, turn it on. So take a break. And I do that. I love it after I've been spending time either doing Zoom calls, talking to people, and then I say, okay, I got to go outside. I want to look at the mountains. I want to walk through my rose gardens, or, just go outside and just breathe the fresh air. Some of you might not be able to do that. If you're not able to do that, then still take a break and do something you enjoy doing. Then come back and continue on what you're doing. Most important to do that. And the 10th is, remember this, rest is the work. That's right, rest is the work. You got to get enough rest at night so you can start your day, and then understand that when you get to a point where your energy starts peaking, like mine does, around 4:30, 5 o'clock, I know that's it. I can feel my body, energy starts dipping. I say, okay, time for a reset. And then I'll just go get on a lazy boy, go to sleep. And then after that, when I wake up, I'm like a bull. I am ready. I'm ready to go to 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. I mean, that's how my body works. But everybody's different. But just understand, don't feel guilty about taking rest. Some people say, well, that's not productive. It is productive. Because if you're tired, it affects your emotions, it affects your attitude. Your tolerance for people is very low. You know, you'll find yourself chewing people out, then you wouldn't normally do that, right? You'd find a different way to look at it. But rest is the work, and that's all part of it. Because we're not angels. I mean, we're not superhumans, okay? So our bodies do require a certain amount of rest. So don't feel guilty about that. Some people do. You know, it's like it's like if they're resting, well, they're not productive. I got to be productive all the time. And then it carries over into the family life. Oh, if I'm spending too much time with the family, well, then I'm not productive. Next thing you know, their marriage is in trouble. No, again, that's part of the priorities too on your list. Not everything that you put on your list of things that you must do has to always be about business. Your family's the most important. So anyway, I hope that's helpful. And hey, Gary in Manila, hope you're doing well. And is Leanne good? Charge it up, girl. So anyway, you can share this if you want, and I hope all of you are having an awesome Wednesday. And Friday, I'll do a Q&A and look forward to getting some of your questions, and I'll do my best to answer. And now my son said, my 11-year-old said, he said, Daddy, I want you to come and watch a movie with me tonight. Pirates of the Caribbean. I said, okay. So that's one of those things on my list to do now, and I'm going to go do it. So everyone, have a great evening, and I appreciate very much you connecting with me. Love all of you. Take care.